Yo, hello and welcome to the podcast that will be filling out the Ultimate One Piece 2.0 300 pairings tier list. Yes, I am only going to talk about characters that I do genuinely care for, and I'll try to edit out all the unnecessary blabber that I constantly do and cannot stop, so it'll have to go into editing. So, without further ado, let's look at all of these and completely ruin my voice by talking and talking and talking forever and ever. Let's go. Okay, starting off strong with Ace and Deuce. Am I pronouncing Deuce right? Who knows, but absolutely ultimate goals. Ace's novel completely sold me on these, which, isn't surprising because where else is Deuce aside from the One Piece base shop? Ace and Asuka say, maybe I just love the Ace novel. Who's to say, really? Ace and Law, on the other hand, I think they'd be friends. I haven't rarely seen any fan out of them that has made me a shipper of them. So I think Ace is a little bit too extroverted, while Law is a little bit too introverted. I think it'd be hard for these two to really get to know each other. Whereas with these two pairs, they have already gotten to know each other through the novel. So if there is no canon interactions that I'm aware of, then that will naturally put most ships lower. Aside from things super random crack ships like Doflamingo x Usopp, that I've seen brilliant fan art of, that would go a lot higher just for the fan art. So you can say thank you to the fan artists. No Jaco and Ace, no Thatch Ace, no. Usopp Ace, no. Vivi Ace have a lot of canon interactions that, not canon, anime interactions that make them seem like they've got something romantic going on. So I don't necessarily ship them in the sense of I do ship them together, but the interactions they do have are super polite and respectful and very very sweet, very sweet. I do like them quite a bit. Then these two as friends, just because they don't interact that much, just kind of our standard Straw Hat interactions with Ace. From what I've seen, from what I remember, Alida and Praline would go like extremely sweet, but I don't really care for them, so I'm not going to put them in here. Alvida, Hancock, what the fuck? Honestly, I hate clowns. It's not that I dislike the ship, but I hate that. I think the reason people pair Rosinante with Buggy is because they both have the makeup, and I feel like that puts Rosinante in too much of a clown position, and I don't like that. Like, yeah, yeah. Sorry. I did see cute Mr. 3 plus Buggy fan art today, so from that it would go to this, but I just don't care about these characters at all. What the fuck? Law and Baby 5, there's potential there. It's not necessarily a ship I've ever thought about, but I think there's potential there. Like, they grow up together, and then that is quite the hindrance, but they could develop something healthy. Well, it's Law. Can he develop something healthy? But it's definitely gonna go in extremely sweet as Baby Five's actual ship. Bartolomeo and Law, I think, would be enemies to lovers, if anything. Because Barto does not appreciate listening to Law at all, which I think is very funny. These guys I just don't care for. I mean, everyone who's like canonically married, they always get happy love scenes together, right? Unless but the difficulties in their marriage would be a plot point, but I don't think we've had that. I don't remember, at least, if we had. So, like, everyone's who's happily married automatically goes in this bracket, but yeah. Belmare and Corazon is another one of those Corazon ships where I'm like, I mean, yeah, they're both Marines. Well, they were, because they're both dead. Well, they share that. They're both dead. Their ghosts can have a love affair. Like, again, I've got nothing against the ship. I don't know. The chance of them meeting, I feel like, is so low that eh, it's not much of a ship. Then these two, the way Belmare teases Genzo is, we definitely have ship potential here, or like lovers potential. Yeah. Then Barto and Bellamy acquaintances. Like Bellamy goes against Luffy too much for there to be something there. Um, Bellamy and Doflamingo, I could envision as a ship where Doflamingo completely takes advantage of Bellamy's absolute adoration that he has for Doflamingo, and I don't think it'd be a healthy relationship between these two. There's way too much imbalance of power between them. But, it's decent. Like lovers to enemies. No, wait, that's the wrong way around. Enemies to lovers. But yeah, like if it starts there as a toxic ship, yeah, it's possible. Beipo and Law, more friends, I think, because Beipo is just, he seems so innocent to me. I think he's roughly as old as Law, but I don't know. Beipo is just like an innocent little baby to me. Kaido and Big Mom I haven't seen much of, but they both looked really cool when they were young. From what I've seen of like one spoiler, so I would ship them just for looking good, I guess. That makes sense. Law and Hancock, I think, would make a really funny pairing because they're both drama queens in their own right. And just for the sake of that, I absolutely ship it. Like, I think there's so much potential for shenanigans here. They're not necessarily a good ship, but there's a lot of fun to have here. Nami and Hancock, I don't think would get along. I don't have a necessary reason for this, but I just feel like Nami wouldn't really like her. Maybe Hancock would like. Does Hancock like anybody openly? I feel like there's too many trust issues going on there. Why is this ship? that's something. Oh yeah, him and his captain. Yeah, I ship those. Caesar and Monet, absolutely just co-workers. I think Monet's standards are higher than Caesar. Sorry to all the Caesar fans here. Barto and Cavendish. I don't know. Like, they're shipped a lot, but I haven't felt the spark myself. All it takes to convert me is one good fan art, and I will be converted. But for now, they're just like frenemies, I'd say. It's a little bit higher than acquaintances, but frenemies. Law and Cavendish just don't like each other. Based on the anime scenes. Very funny interacting with each other, but Okay, Crocodile and Hancock. I feel like they could be like frenemies as well. If there is, I think that would be the kind of frenemies where they both mostly interact with each other if there's anything to gain from each other. And they'd keep it to like bare necessities because they can't really stand each other that much. Crocodile and Rosinante. Is he just a Doflamingo stand-in? Is that what this is? Crocodile and Daz, yeah, like solid, kind of vanilla, I think. Because they just get along well, but there's no conflict there. Doflamingo. Ultimate goals, yes. But absolutely ultimate goals in the sense that it's unrequited love for me, at least. That's my favorite take on Dofuwani. So Doflamingo is the creepy stalker guy who absolutely yearns for Sir Crocodile. Sir Crocodile is just like, nah, yeah, get rid of this fucking idiot. I don't want to deal with him a second longer. That's I mean, to each their own favorite ship dynamic, but that is the one for me. I think Crocodile getting fed up with Doflamingo is one of the funniest things there is. Dragon and Crocodile, very very much not based on anything that I'm familiar with, but I haven't seen a lot of flashbacks. Would go in extremely sweet just because one artist Diminuel, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, makes amazing dragon crocodile comics. But seeing as I don't care enough, I'll go back out of here. Sanji and Crocodile, again, amazing fan art of these two that I've seen. I can't quote the artist, I'm sorry. But would go up here just for that sake. Just because of their Mr. Prince phone call interaction. But they're just kind of too, kind of too on the blue. Caesar and Duffy, I think, are frenemies. Caesar very openly worships Doflamingo, but I think it's all fake. I think that's like the kind of sweet face he pulls when Big Mom checks in on if he's actually doing any research. I think Caesar's affection is all fake. Doflamingo cares for the people that work for him, in the way that, like, in the sense that they're useful, and in my personal opinion, there's a bit of genuine care there too. Not too much, mind you, but a bit of it at least. So they're I think frenemies and co-workers. So, well, boss and subordinate and frenemies, that's that kind of thing. Monet, I think, is a little bit higher than that. Just because I don't know. Monet seems a lot more grounded than Caesar does. Caesar is a little bit extreme in what he does. Or he shouts a lot. He exaggerates a lot, right? Monet is a lot more quiet than that. And I think that's something that's a bit more shippable together with Doflamingo. Also, bird plus bird. This is my ship reason. Bird plus bird. Sanji and Duffy. I think there's potential there because, with how caring Sanji is, if you learned about Doflamingo's backstory, he could go into that absolute overdrive of, oh my god, he's been treated so poorly, let me fix him. I think Sanji's ships for me are a lot of I can fix him. So, in regards to that, it could work, but then Doflamingo doing what he does, that would ruin a lot of things for Sanji. So, like, an AU, and it's super shippable, but generally tough to ship. Vergo and Doflamingo, yeah, extremely sweet. Not ultimate goals, simply for the fact that I absolutely despise Vergo. Sorry to all Vergo fans, but, I'm allowed to have my own opinion, as you are to have yours. But yeah, they would go at ultimate goals, but yeah, spite. Viola and Doflamingo, extremely problematic to put this here, but there is a fan artist that draws them, and oh my god, they're so good. They're so good. Genuinely, because of that artist, probably one of my absolute top represented ships in the One Piece verse. Very controversial, but I think it's extremely interesting to explore how much agency Viola had in her, being suppressed by this new tyrant taking over her country, and how much she was able to try and work against him, or not. So, I should work on that in a fan fiction. Dory and Broggy are here. Huh, interesting. Okay, a lot of people I just don't care for, I don't know. Frankie and Iceberg, no. I don't want to ship those. Ew. Garb, I just hate seeing Garb. I'm not going to ship him with anybody. Oh hey, it's two Goths. Let's ship the Goths. I don't think they would get along. But let's ship the Goths. Hina and Smoker I ship, but they're not here together. Kalea or Korea, what was she called? And Hero Luke. Was that his name? I'm sorry, I don't remember. I think are very, very deeply friend-zoned. I think he tried to get something more out of that, and she was like, yeah, no. I'm 139, I'm still young for my age, I can do better than you. And then, yeah, that was kind of rude. Judge. You know, let's do the most controversial thing ever. Wow. Ultimate goals! Yeah, she poisoned herself because of his choices. Wow. What a ship. Yeah, no. I think they can go and stop. Absolutely can go and stop. Judge and Zeph. What? Okay, Kaido I just don't know. Like, he drinks. That's all I know right now. Kaku and Khalifa? No, Kaku deserves better than that. Areju and Katakuri? I don't know. I think Sanji and Katakuri could be really sweet together. Like, Sanji at first being a little bit jealous of the bond Katakuri has with her siblings, or at least Brule, because, you know, like, Flambe doesn't really seem, she's kind of a little bitch. And I don't think anybody would want to ever be that sort of sibling relationship where she is a bitch to you and reveals your secret to the world. I hate her so much. But I think that could be like an initial talking point they could talk about, and then connect over. You know, like caring people, I think could do very well together. Unless they're both looking for, like, a bad boy type to date. In which case, probably a bad match. Okay, we're getting to... we get into major enemies to lovers. No, I'm not gonna do that to Kid. Kid's my favourite character. I'm not gonna ship him with a poo. I mean, that would just be rude. And X-Drake, I don't see the reason. I might just be unfamiliar with it though. I don't know. I think Hawkins would get on Kid's nerves. Now these here, I'm not even gonna put them here. I'm gonna put them here because they are what any ultimate ship should be to each other. I think. Like, there is nothing that goes beyond Kid and Killer's relationship. And I want Victoria in the series, please. I want to talk about her. I want a flashback with her. Somebody resurrect her from the dead or do something to make her be alive again, please. Like, that's a dynamic I want to explore so badly. Yes, and then Kid Law, hell yeah. You know what? They're my favorite characters. They go at the top. They absolutely go at the top. I mean, Dofawani after that, I think. Okay, let's move on. What else do we have? Oh, King Baum and his wife. You know, like, they're a married couple, and his love for her motivated him to keep going and fight until the end. So, you know, maybe extremely sweet, not ultimate goals. Okay, let's move on. I hate Kobe, so I'm not going to pair him with anybody at all. Oh, Koza and Vivi. I want to ship them, but I definitely see them as friends. I want to ship them really badly, but I don't know. They're just too politically focused. You know, right? Like, I don't know. Even with the rebel army, like, not being a thing anymore, I feel like Vivi's too ambitious, or too serious to really start anything with him. If not for that, yes, but I don't know. I feel like Vivi's got her priorities set way too straight, so she wouldn't go for any romantic dalliances because of that. Okay, let's see. Who's next? Kuzan and Borsellino. I don't know. Oh, that's Rebecca's mother. No. Father and daughter, please, no. That's horrible. No, but no, that's Scarlet. Scarlet is her name. Yeah, I mean, married couple. I didn't really like them together very much though. I don't know. I don't really like them together. I feel like there's a lot of missed potential there. Monet and Law. I don't know where, I don't know when, I don't know how, if I just dreamt it or if it really happened, but I think Monet jokes about Law asking her on a date, and I ship it so much because of that. Shachi and Penguin, I don't know, like friends that maybe tried out being together, but eh, like it's a possibility, but it's not something I really ship. Is that Tashigi and Law? No. I really don't like Tashigi. I don't want to give Law to her. Usopp and Law, do they ever interact? I haven't seen Wano. I'm just at WCI, WCI, Whole Cake Island, so I don't know. No, no, that's cruel. That's absolutely cruel. Why would you do them that's no, no, no. Poor Law. Lucci. Blah, I hate Lucci. Yeah, you know what these two. No, I don't think Lucci cares for Spandam at all. Plus the Lucci fans would probably have my head if I paired him with them. Extremely sweet. Yeah, I think like Luffy with his genuine care and love for people, and Barto with his unending adoration, they would make like a really loving couple. Like I think that would go great. Yeah. Okay, Bellamy and Luffy. There's a lot of respect there, from both sides. So very healthy. I think a lot of Luffy ships are very healthy. Hancock and Luffy, ultimate goals. I think Hancock is very sweet about him, and she needs to tone it down, but there's potential there. That's an ultimate goals, by the way. There is potential there. I mean, it is canon adjacent. Brooke is, I don't know. Like, he's never wanted to see Luffy's panties. I don't ship them. I don't know these people. Frankie, no, they have no chemistry. No, no, no. There's potential there. There's potential there. They respect each other a lot. They like have the same mindset in fights. So, I could see it. Kid, they would not like each other. they would drive each other up the walls, but it would be so chaotic and so much fun. I think they would both have so much fun with a relationship between them. It wouldn't go well, but it would be fun for all parties involved. Killer and Luffy, no. Like friends if he's dating a kid, or just in general as well. If Zoro's like hanging out with him a bunch, practicing, or training. But I think Killer is too quiet to be to Luffy's liking. I mean, like, he loves Robin, but I feel like there's little potential for that to be something developing between them. Luffy Law, yeah, hell yeah. I mean, just those three together, absolute chaos. And the kid would always go along with it. But like the chicken scene. Beautiful. Absolute idiots, the lot of them. Marguerite, I really like. I feel like Luffy has just such great shipping potential because he's just such a great character who would never do anybody wrong. Um, unless, unknowingly causing absolute chaos and mayhem. So very, very shippable. Luffy and Nami also just super sweet as a couple. Is that Rebecca? She looks so normal in this. Oh, they didn't want to use her gladiator outfit. Huh. I don't know. I don't really want to ship Rebecca with anybody. Luffy and Sanji, again, just Luffy's such a top shipping candidate for everybody. Reiju, no, that kiss, that made me hate Reiju so much. Shirahoshi is too much of a baby to be loved. No way. To be in a relationship with anybody, she needs to grow the fuck up before she dates anybody. Yeah. Vivi, I mean, potential, but they're both too focused on their own goals for me. Yamato I haven't seen yet. Zoro, yeah, super shippable, super shippable. Marco and Ace, no, I'm very much on the brothers trend. Like everybody in the Whitebeard family is a brother to each other in my mind. Aside from Blackbeard, Blackbeard can go fucking die on a hill. Sorry, that got a bit violent. These two, no canon interactions, so that I'm aware of. Sorry. Like they have something to talk over with medicine, I guess, but I don't know. Law isn't that much of an extrovert, from what I know, so I wouldn't really peg him for the type to talk about that kind of stuff. Senor Pink and his woman. I think there's a lot of tragedy in their love story, and that makes me love love stories. Like, if they're really fucked up, but in a good way, then that makes me put them really high up on the list. I mean, you can see that with Viola and Doflamingo. Extremely fucked up, but very tragic, very interesting. So yeah. But Shanks can fucking get out of here. I don't like Shanks. Sorry. These two are same as Hancock and Crocodile. Except with Mihawk, doesn't really benefit anybody. I mean, he's still a man, so, you know, why would Hancock like him? If there wasn't, like, some big inciting incident. These two, I think, would pretend to like each other at most. But I haven't seen any of the cross-guild stuff, so I don't know. I'm very, poorly informed. Sanji and Mihawk. That's interesting. I've never thought about that. Friends at the least. I think they both like wine, so maybe that's something they could connect over. They both would fall on the more cultured spectrum in the One Piece world, in my opinion. So, you know, there's potential there. Friends is the same. There's potential there as ultimate goals. This tier list makes sense. This, I'm gonna go back on my word from each other. What? From earlier, and because, you know, Monet, because she's quiet and calm, she would be more Doflamingo's type. I'm gonna go back on that and say Mihawk is probably too boring for Doflamingo's extravagant, flamboyant nature. I don't know. Like, I feel like Doflamingo would like a little bit of that quiet domesticity that Hawkeye has going for him. But I think he'd get bored of it too quickly. He's too much of a mastermind. I don't know. Like, I'd need fan art or fan fiction to be convinced of this ship, and then I'd be on board. These two, I mean, it depends. How much are they family and how much are they adults living together? I'd need to know more about them living together to judge this as a ship. I mean, they got potential from being offs, same as Hawkins and Perona, but don't really know enough from the canon. These two, I feel like, would be... I don't know if they would be friends, if you could call them that. I feel like it's kind of like Doflamingo and Bellamy, except the Hawkeye isn't Doflamingo, so he wouldn't like wanna take advantage of his sort of teacher constellation he's got going on with Zoro. I mean, you know, they're both old sword fighters. They can do what they want, but it's just not in my cards, really. Ace Nami, yeah, I mean, not extremely sweet, but very shippable. Watch me put all the Ace ships up here too, just because Ace has a very not likable nature. It's the same as with Luffy. These are Nami ships that are coming over now. The lady from Gold, was that Karina? I mean, Ultimate Golds, I don't know. Because I think they read as well as friends as they do as lovers. So it doesn't really matter where I put them exactly. So they're like, they would fit in each of these brackets. Maybe I'll just put them in I ship it, not in one of the extreme ones. Like both ways we go. Oconus, cool. Yeah, you know, like, don't know if she interacts with Nami that much, but I'd ship her with any of the Straw Hats. She was really sweet. I really like Conus. No, she wouldn't. She wouldn't like Brooke as much as she beats him. Like romantically, I mean. Nami and Kid is like one of those rare ships that I see sometimes. I'm down for it. Like, I'm not super on board with it, but it's might as well explore it. Same with Law, really. I think Nami is very shippable into all directions. Yeah. Maybe it's because she's a Straw Hat. I feel like Perona she'd get along with, but not necessarily in a romantic fashion. I think Perona is a bit too extreme about needing things to be cute. I think she's a bit too girly for Nami in that sense, if that makes sense. Is Lola here? That's probably Lola, right? Lola and Nami are, I really like them. Both as friends and as romantic potential partners. I don't know. Very sweet. Very sweet. Nami and Usopp are both extremely sweet as friends and would be like a highly functional couple. So you know, either works. Either works. Wanda has potential for shipping, but I don't know. I don't really want to ship any of the Minks. Because you know what? I'm not gonna aggravate anybody by explaining myself. Zoro and Nami is extreme enemies to lovers. So I'll put it in extremely sweet just because it's extreme enemies to lovers. I think, well, you know, it's not actual hatred, but there's so much animosity coming from Zoro towards Nami for the amounts of debts he's had to pay off, and how horrible she's been about those to him. So that's where the enemies comes from. Vivi and Nami is a very well beloved pair. It's like, I see the canon material, but yeah, I just don't feel that much about it myself. I think I just generally prefer to ship men over girls together, so that's just my shipping preference. Yeah. These two, yeah, very sweet. But again, they're a married couple, so I don't care to put them up there. These two, I've seen amazing fan art of them as well. But like overcoming your tribes or your people's thoughts, like all Romeo and Juliet style, very sweet. Love those two. Okay, Pedro and Pico Mamushi. What was his name? I don't remember. No, I didn't really see anything there. Kill Pen, hell yeah. Hugely thanks to Coffee Time Works. He's made some very amazing pieces about Kill Pen, both in art and in writing. I didn't feel anything for them before, except I was like, oh yeah, vice captains, woo. But yeah, that's sweet. That's sweet. A sweet, cute little couple. Shachi is the same as Penguin. Where did I put Shachi? Hold up. Shachi. Yeah, there he is. Might as well put those next to each other. Like, potential, but mostly just friends. Like, I don't know. I read Law and Shachi and Penguin more as like either siblings or dude friends. I mean, why would they be girlfriends? But, you know. Not making much sense anyway. Okay, Shachi Penguin, much better than Law and either of the two, but I think they do work best when they're like just dude friends and just the most stupid guys you've ever seen in like a very funny fashion. Like they'll crack the worst jokes and make you laugh with how stupidly proud they are of the dumb jokes they make. Yeah. Okay, who's next? Conus and the woman I really like that I've forgotten the name of. Absolutely ship her with Wiper, and Conus a bit less because why Conus? You know, like those two absolutely like lead that rebellion, my guys. Um, Barto and Robin, extremely sweet. I mean, I think Barto is so sweet with any of the Straw Hats that you can just ship him with everybody. Um, so that checks out. Hancock and Robin, I don't really see it. Brooke and Robin, I think. Oh no, I lost him. No, where did it go? Fuck. Oh, up there. Okay. I think could be really funny. I think they could have some really funny moments together. And they're both like ancient, right? Brooke's a little more ancient, but like I see it. Crocodile and Robin is very much like Bellamy and Doflamingo, except less toxic. But is it? I think Doflamingo is like openly toxic and Crocodile would be secretly toxic because he was planning to kill Robin anyways, right? Once she stopped being useful. So, yeah. Openly toxic boss subordinate relationship and secretly toxic boss subordinate relationship. Plus, I mean, poor Robin. Like he's not gonna unconditionally love her, and then she'll just be reaffirmed in her trust issues with the world, and she'll just be even more miserable. I mean, there's AUs in which it could work. I'm not trying to at all harken down on the ship in case it's your favorite, but I don't know. Lots of potential for toxicity here. Robin and Frankie, I honestly, like, while it's a really good ship, it's kind of been overdone for me. Like, it's the most common ship I see outside of Zoro and Sanji, and that's just kind of dampened my excitement for it because I don't really feel much for Frankie in the first place. I really prefer Frankie pre-cyborg, which, like, his design, I really don't like his cyborg design, and I don't know, he's just a bit too extreme for me. A little bit too much of everything. Robin and Kuzan, no. Like, he sent her away when she was a kid. That's, I don't know. And he was already ancient then. It's a bit too much of an age gap. Robin and Jinbei could work out too. I just don't care for Jinbei, so I'm not going to put him up there. Robin and Law is a ship that I've never really understood. Like, yes, they're similar to each other, but like I feel like they have too much shared trauma in the sense of their homes being destroyed, where to an extent you want to get away from that trauma and not necessarily, I mean, it could be very healing, but I don't know. I kind of both want them to get with somebody who doesn't share that trauma, so they don't have to like confront even more of the same trauma but from a different situation, if that makes sense. I don't know. Like, I just think there's better Robin ships. Robin and Monet, no canon interaction. Robin and Nami are extremely sweet together. Like, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Nami looks to Robin for comfort so many times. They're so sweet. Like, both as best friends and as actual ships. But that applies to, like, all of the Straw Hats. Because they are just good people. Sanji and Robin, extremely sweet. Again, because they're both really sweet, and Sanji putting that flower in Robin's hair and Robin just staring on, like, blankly, that's such a cute scene. I feel like Robin and Sanji both have so much trauma, and I feel like they could really heal each other, and like the sweetest way possible. Am I tearing up saying this? Yes, I am. Why am I tearing up? Okay, I discovered a new ship for myself, Robin and Sanji. The Frobin simps would kill me for this, but nobody's getting to this point in the video anyway, so who cares? Robin and Usopp, I don't know, they have the ongoing gag where Robin will say something and then Usopp will shout, "Why would you say something so morbid?" And that's killed them for me. Vivi and Robin, I don't feel anything for those. Zorro and Robin are very high on my list because Zorro mistrusts Robin so much at the start, and I feel like that's perfect. Enemies to lovers right there. Like whenever Robin leaves them in Annie's lobby and the assassination of Iceberg takes place, Zorro is the one to doubt Robin the most as well. So like he's very wary when it comes to her, and I think that's a beautiful start to an enemies to lovers. So yeah, Rayleigh, no. I mean, Rouge and Roger, I just wish we'd seen more of. I don't think we saw them interacting at all, did we? Just saw him like going to visit her, and then we didn't see any of them together. Like, I for some reason I just really want to see them together. I mean, I guess I just really want to see more of Roger. I haven't really seen any Roger, beside a Pedro flashback, and that was a bit traumatic. Just a little bit. Okay, Nami and Reiju. Nami deserves better than that. Nojiko and Reiju. Nojiko deserves better than that. Reiju and Tashigi, yeah, they deserve each other. Sabo, I don't like Sabo. Akainu, yeah, no, I'm not interested. Akainu and Usopp are from the One Piece Party chapter, where Akainu keeps promoting Usopp until he's nearly fleet admiral. I think in that chapter Usopp becomes an admiral. It's so funny. So Akainu and Usopp. Ace and Sanji, yeah, you know, like a lot of trauma that they can heal for each other. Again, so same as Sanji and Robin. Sanji is just like the balm to any weary heart, and I think that's a beautiful thing. Sanji and Brooke, I mean, they're both perverts, so I think they get along extremely well in that sense, but I don't know, they're both too focused on panties to focus on each other. Konus and Sanji are absolutely very sweet. I mean, Sanji with any woman is just very sweet. Sanji and Frankie, I don't see it. Jin could be very interesting. Could be very interesting as a ship. But I don't know. I think Jin betrayed Sanji one too many times. I think Sanji would find it in himself to forgive Jin, but I wouldn't want that for Sanji. You know, like, yeah, I want better for Sanji. Wait, where's the Sanji x Ivankov ship? I'm kidding. I wouldn't want to put that on Sanji, honestly. I don't think he'd be happy. This woman is the married wife of Jonathan from G8, isn't she? I'm gonna say I ship it, but let's pretend that this woman is Carmen from the filler in Loketown from the cooking event, and then I ship it. Even though, well, I don't know. Sanji doesn't really interact with her specifically, he just interacts with her like he interacts with any woman. So, But, you know, still. Law and Sanji? I don't know. I don't really feel it. Just friends, I think. I feel like Sanji would make fun of Law a lot. And I think then Law would get stuck in his drama queen attitude and not really want anything to do with him. Pudding? No, absolutely not. I think their relationship would be extremely toxic because Pudding has these bouts of meanness, right? Like between being really kind and in love, and I think those bouts of meanness would really reinforce the insecurities that Sanji has, and it would kill him. It would kill him slowly. I think that would be extremely miserable for Sanji and for Pudding too, because I don't think she wants to hurt him. I don't know what the deal is with her, but I think that's a terrible ship. Like, I'd rather see Sanji x Ivankov over this ship. I don't think Sanji wants to be shipped with Ivankov. Sanji and Usopp, I think, has potential. I just don't feel the spark. Oh, absolutely, Viola and Sanji. You know what? For spite's sake, let's put these two ships together. The best possible scenario for Viola and the worst possible scenario for Viola. Right. Vivi and Sanji. I will say, like Red is friends, but every time or during Alabasta, while Vivi is traveling with them, I feel like Sanji does prioritize Nami and Robin a lot over her. Despite of course being a big fan of Vivi, which I think that's really interesting, really very interesting. Okay, Sanji and Zoro. I mean, they gotta be at the top. I will be beheaded if I don't put them at the top. Nah, I mean they're great. They're great, and the millions of pieces of fan art have cemented my opinion on that. They're like even if they're just like forced to spend time together, they will always be entertaining, which makes them an amazing ship. Um, Looking at all this, I feel like Deuce is going to go down a level. Like, I rarely ship them, but there's so little interaction between them, whereas all of these other ships are more cemented in my brain. Like Ace and Izuka too. Oh, I can even quote his words. And wait, I wanted to reach out to her, but anyway, my hand turns to fire. And sorry, I got a bit lost there. um, okay, Sengoku and Tsuru. I guess Hina and Smoker. Yes, these two. A Smoker. I mean, like very solid, but not one of my ships that I felt any spark for. Um, I feel like this could especially start up after Luffy saves Smoker, which I think is when he's most conflicted in his hatred for pirates, and then being indebted to one for having had saved his life through Zoro. And, with Ace's link to Luffy, and maybe a Smoker would talk to Izuka then and figure out that Ace is also quite a nice character, much like Luffy. And then, I think like we're like a few steps away from the start of them interacting and falling in love. But yeah, that was such a rant. Um, so Smoker and Crocodile just don't like each other. I don't see the potential for an enemies to lovers here. But again, any AU fic fanfic, the piece of art could change my mind on that. Smoker and Hina are like unofficially married to me. I don't know why. Maybe it's an interaction between them I've seen. Maybe it's a fan art of them I've seen. I don't know. But I don't know. They're just like they were like a really strong marine unit in my mind. I just really like Hina for no reason. Smoker and Kuzan are very decent as a ship, but I don't feel the spark. Smoker and Law are the very same thing. I mean, I think Smoker is very shippable just because Smoker is such a great character. So like everyone with him is like a great match. In my books, except Tashigi, absolutely not. No. Tashigi is just too much of a bumbling idiot, and the fact that she is so much of a bumbling idiot, at least especially at the start, puts her in so much of a lower position as a subordinate. I do, yeah. Smoker's too righteous, I think, to have a boss subordinate kind of relationship with her. He's not like Crocodile or Doflamingo. He's not gonna stoop to that level. Again, like if this is what you ship, then go ahead. I don't care. Do as you will. You are free to do so. Is that Kaya? I mean, they're like a canon married couple. So, Perona and Usopp for the gags, absolutely. As a ship, yeah. Depends on who's drawing on it, right? Or what they're doing with it. Usopp and Doflamingo would go in. I ship it. Yeah. Viola and Monet. No. No, they don't have that extreme toxicity between them that makes Doflamingo and Viola so interesting to explore. Oh no. No, no. From the fan art I've seen, absolutely. Though, don't necessarily need to be together. They could just be dude friends. Wait, can you even see my mouse? Oh, fuck. Right, I was talking about them. This whole video is fucked up. No. Horrible. Okay, Zeph and Zora is kind of like the go-to Zeph Zora ship. Might as well. Zorro and Brooke. I mean, there's a lot of respect there. Like, shippable as Straw Hats, I would say. Oh my god, you haven't seen what I was pointing at this entire time. I feel so stupid. Fuck. Kaku and Zorro, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I really like their interaction with each other. Kid and Zorro could be really interesting to explore, but I don't really see them. Like, there's more of a spark there than with anyone of the lower tier, but that's just because I love Kid, I think. Killer and Zorro, very shippable. A little bit more so than, it's kind of Kill Pen again, except, it's like the calmer, more stoic variant of it. Whereas Penguin I view as very, very loud and happy and joyful. Zorro is just kind of, matching killers. Sorry, that's my explanation for that. So that's also why I think Killpen are a bit better of a match, because they contrast each other in that sense. But yeah. Okay, Zorro and Law. I mean, they're like exactly the same as Kill Law. Not Kill Law, Kill Zorro. So yeah. Perona and Law, I think, is extremely funny. Not necessarily so much in a romantic sense, but they're so much potential for being fun. Either as best friends or as like kind of like a married couple that just can't get along no matter how hard they try. So it's kind of like Dofawani in that sense, except that that's a terrible comparison. That doesn't make any sense at all. Never mind. Oh my god, so many Zorro ships. Reiju and Zorro, no. Tashigi and Zorro, no, absolutely not. No. I think dating somebody who looks like your dead best friend, that's just it's like, even when you overcome it, if like in a potential scenario, Zorro got married to Tashigi and then wanted to bring her home and show her to his old master, his old swordsman master, then like, oh my god, no, for that reason alone, like, no, they can't be. Zorro and Vivi are like friends. Usopp, I think Zoro respects Usopp a little bit too little for his constant fear for that to be a thing. Johnny and Yosaku, I mean, they both kind of just go into friends. For Zoro matched with him, I mean, them together, I don't know, they give more of the friends kind of vibes, but wow, I did so much of a thing. Add a row above for the symbol. There we go. Yeah, I think that's everything. I hope there's not anything I've put in here that I will disagree with upon further thought. But aside from that, this has been my 54-minute podcast. I'm out. I'm not even gonna say anything for conclusion, just bye.